Hey, welcome to Spots of Folded NBA Ranking Show. I am your host, Eric. Big dog in the house. Kenny, how are you tonight?
Good. Spirit fingers. Spirit fingers.
Yes, sir. We got some spirit going on for sure. These rankings have been pretty incredible for us as Boston Celtics fans, but a lot of movement this week. You saw some teams kind of fall a little bit, some teams jump, some teams back in. So we're going to bring up the list first so we can kind of talk through that. And then you're going to break down each team for us and let us know how you got to these rankings. So,
Mhm.
how we started off was, oh boy, there we go. Cleveland at number 5, the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Memphis Grizzlies at 4, the Milwaukee Bucks at 3, the New Orleans Pelicans, very surprisingly, at number 2, and the Boston Celtics remaining at the number 1 spot. So, Kenny, what I will say is this before we even get going.
Mhm.
So there was some controversy when it came to maybe that 5th spot in Brooklyn, who's making a pretty good run. They're 8-2 in their last 10 and 17-12.
Yep.
And Denver 17-10, 7-3 in their last 10.
Mhm.
Why did we go with the Cleveland Cavaliers at number 5, my friend?
You're gonna laugh at this,
Oh boy,
but they're 18-11, right?
18-11.
Yep.
12-2 at home, 6-9 on the road,
Hmm.
110.7 points per game, which is 24th. So they're not one of the better scoring teams, but number 1 defensively, 104.6 points per game, 6-4 in the last 10. Got games against Indiana, Dallas, and Utah, all at home. So again, they play very well at home. 3 very winnable games for them. So you got to tell me why number 5 and not Brooklyn. Why not the Nets? You don't want to give the Nets some love yet?
Cleveland is is they're not even in the top 10. They're not in the top 10 in shooting, free throw rate, turnovers, rebound. They
Sounds like
shoot
a top 5 team. What what are
yeah,
you, what are we doing?
they shoot terrible from three-pointers. They're inconsistent game to game, quarter to quarter. But you know what they do that Brooklyn doesn't do? They make runs. In the fourth quarter, they make runs, and that's the difference between them and Brooklyn. They make runs and try to win the game.
And you think about Donovan Mitchell, that trade, how well that's worked out for Cleveland.
Yeah.
They got a player in there now that, he's hungry,
Yep.
and they've got some young pieces that last season, their playoff run and what they were able to do. And
Yep.
then Garland now back and he's healthy, so they're deeper than they were early in the year. I like the team, I really do. I think overall they constructed really well. It's just it's tough to say. Brooklyn's making a run now.
Yeah.
Brooklyn's starting to put it together. That's scary because it's 7-12, and you think about where they started, but 8-2 in their last 10.
Hmm.
And then don't sleep on those Nuggets, man. That's my pick to win it all. And I liked Murray coming back, Porter Jr., and then you got Jokic. So it's going to be interesting to see. So of those 3 games, Indiana, Dallas, and Utah, if you had to say there might be a game that the Cavs slip up on, again, they're all at home. Would there be a team that they should be worried about, maybe not overlook?
Indiana.
Really?
Yeah. Indiana. Indiana was one of those teams that can throw a monkey wrench in your whole plans.
Yeah,
throw a
yeah,
monkey
right.
wrench in your
It's a team.
plans.
That's probably the game they should win, and the other
Yep.
2 may be a little more difficult. I think Utah is starting to come back down to earth, though, too.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the Jazz. I think they're starting to come back down to earth. But it's going to be interesting to see if this Cleveland Cavaliers team can remain on this list consistently because they've kind of been one of those teams on, off, on, off.
Yep.
They were as high, I believe, as 2 at one point, and now they're back down to 5, getting back in. But really interesting on that one. What about these Memphis Grizzlies? They're 18-9 overall. Again, another very good home team, 12-2, 6-7 on the road. So that's a little concerning. 115.5 points per game, which is 7th overall in the NBA. 111.7 points given up, which is 12th. They're 8-2 in their last 10, so they're getting hot. Ja Morant, 7.8 assists, right now 5th best in the NBA.
Hmm.
Games against Milwaukee, at OKC, and at Denver. So this is an extremely tough week for the Memphis Grizzlies before our next ranking show. Will they remain on this list, and why are they at 4, Kenny?
Yeah, they're on the list because they're a grind team. They are a grind team. Top 10 in both ways on the court. Jared Jackson Jr. is doing a great job. He finally has more blocks than fouls. 32 blocks this season, only 30 fouls.
Wow. And again, his playoff run, we talk about the youth with Cleveland last season and their playoff run. We could say the same thing about the Grizzlies.
Oh, yeah.
Again, we talked about it on the last show, injuries, but if they could stay healthy, if Ja probably at some point in his career is going to have to realize that he's going to have to take
Slow
less
down.
fouls, right? Yeah, like he's got
Yeah.
to slow down a little bit because
Yeah.
you play at 150%. At some point, you're due for some injuries, and they need you in the playoffs. They need him to be fully healthy in the playoffs. But a fun team, the Grizz. I think they're for real. I think they're legitimate.
Me too. They're exciting to watch.
And if you think about some of the teams that were there last season, especially in the West, the Grizz have stayed consistent, which is pretty amazing. The Warriors look horrible. They just can't seem to put it together. Now Steph Curry out for a couple weeks, and that was probably the only player on that team that was extremely consistent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they can stay healthy, the Grizzlies, I think Bane's out right now currently, if I'm not mistaken, for them.
Right.
So that's a big piece because he's that 3-point threat for them. Morant's not a 3-point shooter. He's that slash guy, get to the rim, the highlight reel. And they need Bane. So it's going to be interesting. I like the Grizz, though, man. I like them at 4. I do. I think that was a good move for them.
Thank you.
So what about these Milwaukee Bucks? So, again, probably the best player in the league right now in Giannis, third in points, fifth in rebounds, 31.1 points, and 11.3 rebounds. They're 20-7. They've gotten healthy now as well with Middleton back. 13-3 at home, 7-4 on the road. Not a very good offensive team when you talk about points per game at 112.6. So that's 16th. But second overall defensively at 107.6. So they are definitely a defensive-minded team. 8-2 in their last 10.
Yep.
Brook Lopez, 2.9 blocks right now, leads the league in blocks, which is kind of amazing to think about Brook Lopez in that aspect. But at Memphis, so we talked about that big game versus Utah at home, and then at New Orleans. So we thought Memphis's schedule this week before the next one is tough. Memphis, Utah, and New Orleans, all for the Milwaukee Bucks. Will they remain on this list, Kenny?
If they can win on the road, they will, because they're terrible on the road. Let me give you some stats for a second. On the road, they average. Wrong. Okay, so Brook Lopez, 65% at home. On the road, 47%.
Yeesh.
Giannis, 61.4 at home, 51.4 on the road.
Which is surprising because, again, championship caliber team, playoff tested. You wouldn't think that would be a struggle for a team like that. And you're talking about veterans. You're not talking about, somebody who's only been in the league for, a minute.
Exactly. And dare I say, Brook Lopez, defensive player of the year.
Yeah. Jinx, my friend. Is that crazy to think about Brook Lopez? I think when we get to the number one team, we may have somebody who might want to discuss that. Or not agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
But the Bucks, again, when we talk about this, it's kind of spread out here on your list. On our NHL list, it was pretty much all Eastern Conference teams. You got a few West teams. You got a few East teams that kind of all mixed in. Nobody's really dominating this season.
Right.
Even Boston, as well as they're playing, there's been points and times where you question some of the things that they've done or had happen. But I don't want to go ahead of myself. I want to talk about these New Orleans Pelicans because I got a couple things to ask you about the Pelicans. First and foremost, let's go over the numbers. 18-9 so far this season, 12-3 at home, 6-6 on the road. They've got to figure out how to play better on the road. 117 points per game, which is 5th overall, 111 points given up, which is 9th. So they're in the top 10 of both statistical categories that matter.
Yep.
8-10 in their 8-2 in their last 10. So you think about what they've been able to do the last 10 at Utah, at Phoenix, and then they home for Milwaukee. So they've got an extremely tough schedule. I will ask you this though: are you, if you were the Phoenix Suns, possibly going at Zion based on that dunk situation that happened last week?
Yeah. I'll go with Adam.
I would sit him. I would sit him. I just got an injury bug. I just feel it coming. I don't know. Like if I'm New Orleans right now, and I'm going, wait a minute, they ain't happy. They stated it. They are not happy with that situation and what you did. That 360 dunk. You know what, Zion? Let's take a break. You need a break, man.
Yeah,
you need a day off.
Yeah.
But
what do they call it? Geez, what did Pop call it when he was sitting players?
I don't even remember. Player, right? I don't know.
I can't remember.
Pop.
Yeah.
But right, maybe that's where we go with this one. Security, I would call it.
Mm-hmm.
Player security, and I bench him. That's how I'd call it, because we're just protecting him, man. We just, we got to protect him.
Well, he's averaging 30 points a game, and so that's pretty crazy. But Pelicans, they came out of nowhere. They're gelling, they're running, they're passing the ball. I mean, they are 15-0 when they lead in the fourth quarter, which is crazy.
That's phenomenal.
Where's that defensive coming from?
Yeah.
And CJ McCollum's been out. Ingram has been out. Two of their good shooters and starters, and it's just the bench. Just the bench is.
Well, you got to look at it this way too, Kenny. Though we talk about all these teams again, we're in the playoffs. New Orleans made that playoff push last season without Zion. Now you add an all-star. You add a guy that legitimately is an all-star if healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're seeing it with the numbers that it's presenting. They're a winning team. They're a well above 500 team. They can score the ball at 117 points per game. He's such a dominant and diverse player.
Yeah.
And I think that's the intrigue with Zion. Everybody wants to see him play.
Yep.
And it's more disappointing that he gets hurt because you know what he's capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Are they a legitimate contender in the West, though? Can this team legitimately win the West, Kenny? Is it, or is this just like a, you know what I mean, a flash in the pan, and by the end of the year we're going to be looking at the same old teams, and we're going, that's what we expected.
Yeah, it's a flash in the pan. I mean, it's good now, but can they keep it rolling? I don't think so. Like you said, Zion has the injury bug, and it kind of spreads sometimes. Sometimes, locker room, and it kind of spreads. Oh, he twists his ankle. Oh, I hurt my knee. Oh, my back. Oh,
Yeah. And he's still, to me, and let me say, he doesn't look like he's in full basketball shape.
No.
I still feel like he's got a little weight to him that he probably needs to lose, because, again, that's wear and tear on your knees and that factor. But they're an exciting team. They're probably the most exciting team if they can continue this run. Yeah. I agree with you, though. I feel like that this is just a flash in the pan, and I feel like at some point they come down to earth. I still think they make the playoffs. I still think they're a middle-of-the-ground team where they'll have a solid record. But to be the best team in the West right now is an unreal thought. That I didn't expect that at all.
Me neither.
If you were going to tell me at the beginning of the NBA season, you say, I'm going to be doing these lists, Eric, every week. I'm going to have the Pelicans in the top 5 the majority of the season. I'd say, Kenny, I'm finding somebody else to do the list. That's what I would have told you. Right? And now look at us. I'm like, and I'm saying, now look at us. I'm like they're 2. They could be 1 at some point if they continue to make a run here. Like it's that crazy. So I just wow, man, it's been a crazy sports year to begin with, but
yes,
this one to your point is very surprising, because even with Zion coming back, I think our expectation was like, okay, they'll be a decent team. Probably make the playoffs, be 500. They're 9 games above 500 right now. So goes to show, though, coaching as well, right? Monty Williams.
Oh, great coach. Great
the
coach.
job he was it Green. Green.
Right. Green.
Monty Williams in Phoenix.
Yes.
But yeah, Green and that pickup last year and what he's been able to do for them. So that's been pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to talk about these number one Boston Celtics. 22-7 so far.
Ooh, yeah.
11-2 at home. 11-5 on the road. 119.4 points per game. Still the number one scoring team in the league. 112.6 points given up. 13th. 7-3 in their last 10. Back-to-back games against Orlando this week.
Yeah.
And some defensive player of the year is returning, and that would be Robert Williams. So your thoughts on the Boston Celtics, A, with the return of Robert Williams, so defensively, what your expectations would be going forward, and B, can he make an impact immediately?
Yeah, he can make an impact immediately. I'm just worried about them shortening his minutes. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to be scared. Let the man play. You know, he's been out for a long time. I believe he'll be ready to play, and it's going to be real exciting.
Does this slow their pace down, though, if you think about from an offensive standpoint, right? Because, again, now he's more of that block guy inside, not a legitimate shot threat from, 20 feet out. And what they've been doing and how they've been running this thing, does that slow their offensive pace down in your mind? Or is this something that maybe that, coaching is just going to have, Joe Mazzulla is going to have to look at it and say, okay, how do I incorporate him into what we're doing currently offensively?
Yeah, that's where coaching comes in. He's just going to have to figure out when's the best time to put him in, when's the best time to take him out. Does he pick and roll? Does he just flash? You know what I'm saying? He has to,
And they kind of did this last season with him. That's my fear, Kenny. Yeah. Because last season in the playoffs, they said he didn't know if he'd be able to come back. And then it was like, if the finals, and then he came back early, but he still wasn't fully healthy.
Yeah.
And we talk about Zion being injury prone. Mm-hmm. Robert Williams is probably 1B when it comes to, at least in Boston. Would you have brought him back so soon? They were talking about February.
Yeah, I'd have did February. Maybe half the season, just let them rest, let them bones energized. But maybe they see something down the road. Maybe they see something. Maybe they just want to give him minutes.
What about this play so far from Jason Tatum? He's averaging 30.2 points per game. He's fifth in the league. True MVP candidate, especially with the record. That always becomes a factor if you have that number one team. Sometimes you get a little bit of a nod when it comes to MVP. Have you seen the jump, or when we saw them play Saturday night against Golden State, he kind of regressed again? So I'm asking you this, Kenny. Was that just a one-off? Or is he still not that big game player that the Boston Celtics need to win a championship?
Oh, he is that big game player. Let me tell you a little story. When I was younger, living in the city of Boston.
Oh, Beantown, my man. All right.
They would say, as long as the Red Sox beat the Yankees, I'm okay. I don't care about it. As long as my Celtics beat the Lakers, I'm good with that.
Oh man, no, the Lakers aren't even a contender. They're more pretenders than contenders. At this point, I'd like to see, and I think my disappointment was that my expectation was going into that Warriors game in Golden State, that Tatum was just going to show out because he wanted to be the guy to say, look, I've learned my lesson from last season. You're not doing it to me again. Yep. And Klay Thompson stepped up.
Yep.
And Tatum took a step back again. And I got flashbacks of that finals, man. And it was bothering me because I'm like, not again. No, not again. We just lost the wait. Okay, this is a regular season game. I'm all right, Eric. It's okay. We're good. We still got time. We still got till June, man, to relax. But
I also
that gets me nervous.
Yeah, I also wanted that game too. We should have won that game, but
especially as well as they've been playing. If they were like, again, a 500 team or that kind of middle of the ground, the expectation would have been, okay, I get it. But if you're comparing the two teams right now and they're
Yeah.
on that pendulum, the Boston Celtics are way up and the Golden State Warriors are just hanging there ready to fall.
Yeah.
And yet the Warriors came out and were more aggressive and wanted to prove a point to say, look, we're still better than you if we want to be.
Yeah.
Right. And that
Yeah.
boggles my mind that the Boston Celtics didn't get up for that game more than any other game so far this season.
Yeah.
They've played some great games. They've played some phenomenal offensive games, defensive games where you sit back and you go, okay, they were up for that game.
Yep.
They've been down, come back. How do you just not, you weren't in that game pretty much the entire game.
No, they weren't. I mean, I wanted that game too. I thought they was going to beat them because of the revenge, because they had something to prove. But you're right, Eric. They just flopped on that game.
Right. And it's just, I don't get it. And to your point, right, you were fired. I'm fired up about that game. Like, how were they not fired up for that game? It's funny to me. It scares me because we're sitting back and we're, as Celtic fans, we're sitting back and we're saying, look, they've learned. Look at how they're playing, right? The record, and they're the number one team, the number one offensive team. And I'm going, okay, they figured it all out. They've got it. This is the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you face a team that you should have beaten because they're down. They're wounded. They beat you last year in the finals. And you lay a brick.
Yep.
It's a basketball term, by the way.
Nice.
and you got one. You got one for me.
Yeah.
Give me a 10 on that one. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Are they still in your eyes the finals?
Yes.
Still.
Yes.
Even with Milwaukee in what Milwaukee's doing defensively.
Yes. It's all about playing chess, not checkers.
Okay. All right.
Missoula did a good job by resting Al Horford. That's where you put in Robert Williams, and then you let
Cornette.
Horford.
Come on, Luke, baby. Luke, he's found the force.
Yeah. Okay, Cornette. Mm-hmm.
They're still not deep, and the question would be too: is there going to be a move made by the midseason? Because they're going to probably have to pick up another guy, especially a big man. I just don't. I don't trust that Rob Williams is going to be healthy, and hopefully this doesn't jeopardize the playoffs for Rob Williams.
Yeah,
but
I hope
excited
so
to see him back.
I hope so too. But you're right. You're going to have to do something, move something, and hopefully it's not anybody we need.
You want some Boogie Cousins? Give me a little bit of Boogie.
Oh, that'd be nice,
right? I take Boogie.
That'd be nice.
You don't need him for much, man. You come in, you spell Horford, you spell Rob.
Right.
I mean, I think that'd be a great move, but I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's going on. Boogie, if you're out there and you're watching Sports Unfolded right now, man, make a phone call.
Yeah, right,
make
Boogie?
A phone call.
Yeah, I do. Come on to Boston.
We want to talk about Boogie. We want to talk about Boogie. We want to bring Boogie on Sports Unfolded. And I mean, right, we get a little shimmy going. I mean, I love it. Bring back the Antoine shimmy. Right? Come on. Those were some good years.
Yeah, those were some good years. running on his tippy toes.
Oh my goodness. So let's bring this list back up, Kenny, real quick, and we'll just break this down before we go into our Do You Remember? I had to get this one. Wait, my friend, for this one. At 5, the Cleveland Cavaliers. At 4, the Memphis Grizzlies. 3, the Milwaukee Bucks. New Orleans Pelicans. Every time I see it, I don't believe it's real. At number 2, and the Boston Celtics at number 1. Kenny, give the fans out there, which team are you most likely to say will not be on this list next week? I have the spotlight right now, my friend.
Woo, I have 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah, 2. Whew, I'm gonna say this. Pelicans.
Wow, really?
And the Cavs.
Wow. That is a shocker for me. I did not see you going that route. So you think the Pelicans at number 2 could fall off this list by next week? And the Cavs I could see, because again, it's 5.
You know what? I'm sorry. I don't think the Pelicans will be at number 2 next week.
Okay, so they'll drop down on this list. But
Yeah,
they
they'll
should still
drop
be on
down.
this list.
But Cleveland, I don't think they'll be on the list next
Okay.
week.
Yeah, I mean, again, that
I
Dallas
think
game,
I think
it's
the
going to be a tough.
Nuggets. I think the Nuggets, if they can play well, if they can play good and be consistent, the Nuggets might take that 5 spot.
I still think, and I'm going to tell you, man, Brooklyn, you're not giving him any love. And Durant, he's listening to you right now, and he's saying, "All right, Kenny, I Kyrie's got the Asics on now, or whatever he's wearing on his sneakers, and you just fired them up, man. You fired them up. You woke up the beast.
Okay.
They take over the East now. Be
Mm.
ready. All right, my friend. It's time for Do You Remember? So each week we try to stump Kenny with some NBA knowledge and see how well he can do. Ron on the NHL show got a point, so half a point on 2 questions, 3 questions. So it came to a point. Let's see if you can beat Ron this week.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, my friend. So the first one is a Celtic question.
Oh.
So we had the big 3.
Mm-hmm.
And of those big 3, we had a player called or named Robert Parrish.
Mm-hmm.
Which team drafted Robert Parrish and then traded him to the Boston Celtics? This was 1980.
Yeah. Wow. Robert Parrish.
You see?
My eyes going blank. Chief. I'm thinking Golden State Warriors.
All right, let's see if you're correct, my friend. Is it the Golden State Warriors?
Golden State Warriors.
Is it the Golden State Warriors? It is, my friend, the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, boy.
That's a full point, my friend.
Woo, the
Golden
Chief,
State
baby.
Warriors. The Chief was a Golden State Warrior, and they ended up trading him. It was for 2 first-round picks. The Celtics actually got in that draft along with the trade for Parrish McHale, and hence you got the big 3. So kind of crazy to think about how that all came about. But Robert Parrish, a former Golden State Warrior to begin his career. I mean, he went on to what? Charlotte, Chicago. So he played on a few different teams after the Celtics, but that was a good one. Good job, my friend. Good job, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, this next one, again, another Celtic question. I wanted to give you a couple C's questions, and I wanted to see how you did here. So this Celtic won the slam dunk contest. Didn't have a very long career with the Boston Celtics. But what player and what team did he end his career with? Slam dunk champion.
Oh, shoot. Whew, you almost got me. D Brown,
baby. Right? Let's do it, baby. We got it. Okay. But what team did he end his career with?
Woo!
Exactly.
Oh. So this was after he was mistaken for a bank robber, right? Yeah,
yes,
you're a bank robber.
Yeah.
You're a bank robber. I play with the Boston Celtics. You sure?
No, I don't think it.
D Brown. I want to say, oh, jeez. It's on the tip of my tongue. I know it is.
I get more excitement out of watching the two of you try to figure these things out.
I want to say, Charlotte.
Charlotte? Okay, let's see if you are correct, my friend. Was it Charlotte?
No, it was the Magic. That's right.
Magic. Look at that. I had to make sure I put the dunk picture in, though. We had to have the dunk picture.
That is so. You are so right. Dang, that was
Magic. So far, you got 1 point, my friend. You got 1 point. You don't get the next one, which is a 2-parter. So you got an opportunity to get 2 points.
Woo, I'm ready.
And clear this right out. But D Brown, I do not remember him as a Magic. I'll tell you that right now.
I do.
Really,
I blew it. We talk about flashes in the pan, man.
He came on the scene with that dunk, and then after that, it was like nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Zero.
Nothing. All right. So here's our two-parter, my friend.
All right.
All right. So first part. Phil Jackson, one of the greatest coaches in NBA history, correct?
Yes. Yep.
He coached the Chicago Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Won 3 titles with Chicago Bulls.
Yep.
Which head coach replaced Phil Jackson in Chicago?
Ooh. Which coach
replaced Phil Jackson
in Chicago?
97, they all broke up. Jordan left, Pippen, they all went their separate ways. Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
Who replaced Phil Jackson?
I can see his face, but I don't know his name.
Yeah, I can't make it too easy, my friend.
Phil Jackson.
I may give you a bonus point once I bring the picture up anyway.
Replace Phil Jackson. Jesus, who replaced Phil Jackson?
You're not going to get it, my friend.
Wasn't he?
I'll tell you this: he was Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State.
Very
right?
good. He was Iowa State head coach.
Yep.
All right. I mean, that's good. That's good. All right. How about this? I'll give you the picture. See if that helps you first.
I know he was from Iowa State. Yeah, there he is. Oh, jeez. Oh, what is his name?
Tim Floyd, my friend. Tim Floyd replaced Phil Jackson in Chicago. Who are the two players that are on the screen?
I know.
The guy on the right of him, I kind of looks familiar. Didn't he play for Sacramento too? I don't know. But anyway, I don't even know who the players are. That's how bad the Bulls were when he ended up taking over because they got rid of everybody. I think Kukoc was the only one that stayed after that. The Bulls run there.
The waiter.
All right, my friend. So that was the first part of that question.
Mm-hmm.
But Phil Jackson also went on to coach the Los Angeles Lakers afterwards.
Yeah.
Won 3 championships as well, correct?
Correct.
Who replaced Phil Jackson as the Los Angeles Lakers head coach?
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Whew.
Tim Floyd, 98 to 01, so only 3 years. I will tell you this much. The coach that replaced him in LA, 1 year. He coached for 1 season. And you want another hint?
Oh, wait.
Go ahead. Okay.
Wait. Shoot.
He won a championship. This head coach won a championship, not with the Lakers, but prior to.
Yep. Oh. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
How weird does this look too? Look who he's talking to right on the sidelines. Rudy Tomjanovich.
I was gonna say it too. I was gonna say it.
Rudy T. And look at talking to Kobe. Like, it just doesn't look right. There's something wrong with that picture. It's like they photoshopped it. Like, it doesn't. He only coached 1 year. I don't remember if it was a health reason he left or it was Kobe didn't like him. There was something. But yeah, 1 year.
Never underestimate a heart of a champion. R.I.P. Rudy.
Yes, he was. Yes, that was yes, he did. Both of them, right?
Yeah.
R.I.P. Kobe too, right?
Right. Yeah. Jeez.
Ugh, both of them gone. Wow. Think about that now. That became surreal. So this has been Sports Unfolded NBA Ranking Show. We do this show every week, breaking down our top 5 NBA rankings from the week. Kenny, you have always graced me with your basketball knowledge and continue to follow this, and I appreciate what you do for us at Sports Unfolded. If you enjoy what you're watching, check our regularly scheduled program. That's on Friday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, all on Rhode Island Broadcasting. If you'd like to follow the show, that little ticker that's down there, it's giving you all the social media outlets that you can follow Sports Unfolded on. Make sure you check out my man Kenny. He's making sure that this NBA season is going according to schedule. We've done very well. This is week 8, and we haven't missed a week yet, Kenny. So great job. Great job, my friend. And we'll have to see next week if your predictions come true. Will the Pelicans fall further down the list, and will the Cavs fall off the list? Really interesting to see what happens. And check out that Robert Williams return tomorrow night for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Kenny, as we always go ahead. What do you got, my friend?
I just want to say R.I.P. to Paul Silas. He was a great coach. I remember him when he coached the Charlotte Hornets, and those boys would run.
Was that Grandmama? No.
Yeah, that
was it Grandmama Augment? Stacey Augment?
Steph's father.
Oh, Del Curry. That was a great team, man. I love that team.
That was a great team, great floor, great colors. It was so vibrant back then when we believe.
Yeah, that was great. No, he was. Again, unfortunately, again, another guy that didn't get a championship as a coach, but he did win one as a player. But he had some really good teams. And again, you're very well said. Great coach. And yes, RIP, Paul Silas. I'm sure there's a lot of guys up there playing some ball, man. It's got to be a good time. There's some greats up there now. So, all right, my friend. I will see you next week.
Yes.
Everybody that's watching us live, thank you. Everybody that will tune in later, just continue to follow and share our program. And all we ever ask for every single week, peace in this world.